Hi again, everybody. It's Kyle Berger and Mike Carey with another edition of Countdown to Kickoff. It's the Week 4 edition as we get into the league schedule in the Suburban 1 League in our coaching area. But Mike, first let's take a look back at last week. What a win for North Penn over St. Joe's Prep. I think they've established themselves as the team to beat.
Absolutely. You know, I've had them 2 or 3 as the polls have gone on, and they're absolutely number 1 in my poll right now. And the team to beat, probably in District 1. By far their biggest win of the year, and they've had a couple other big wins. And the key thing here, Kyle, is that this team's getting better. A lot of young guys. That was absolutely their best win as a coaching staff. They had a better game plan than St. Joe's Prep. They beat St. Joe's Prep on their defensive side of the ball and on their offensive side of the ball.
Well, the other big story, in addition to North Penn's win over St. Joe's Prep this week in the area, was the resignation of Central Bucks East coach Tim Michael. His team winless through the first 3 weeks of the season, and Michael stepped down for personal reasons earlier this week. And Mike, it's something that surprised all of us, I think. What's your take on this whole situation?
Well, the real losers in the whole thing are the student athletes at Central Bucks East. These kids have put in 8-9 months of work and have had a tough start, 0-3. And, you know, there's a lot of questions in the community right now. I mean, we can't look further than Coach Michaels. Tim's a class individual, and we wish him the best. But it leaves their program really in a void, and you got to question, you know, what's going on behind the scenes.
And speaking of behind the scenes in the Central Bucks district as a whole, you look at CB East, you look at CB West, and CB South. Those are 3 teams that have really fallen upon hard times. Is there a common thread between these 3 high schools? What's going on in Central Bucks?
Well, that's the million-dollar question. I mean, there's a lot of talk in the community about, you know, where the programs have come from, and now they are. And when you look back in the past, obviously CB West is a historic program, one that I was very much involved in. But of course, right across the road, Central Bucks East, 25 years, a tremendous program. And now all 3 programs are at the bottom of the heap. We're very proud of the job Brian Hensel's doing at CB West, and it's still early in the season for all of them. So let's not count any of them out, but, you know, they're struggling.
Well, a couple of teams that are doing pretty well down in Lower Bucks County, Abington and Neshaminy. And those 2 teams are going to meet up in a battle of undefeateds, the first real big game of the year between 2 Suburban 1 schools. How do you see that game going at Abington on Friday?
Wow, what an exciting game. This absolutely is the big game of Suburban 1 this early in the season. 2 undefeated teams. Neshaminy going into Abington's home. You got an explosive team in Abington. Almost all their skill guys back, with Hensley, the receiver, Ireland, now the junior running back, over 1,300 yards. Sam Kine, the quarterback, one of the best they've had there. And of course, Neshaminy counters with a bevy of weapons coming back also. Dean, the running back, over 1,000 yards. Titus, Majors at fullback. This is going to be a close game, very, very close game. The thing that bothers me with Abington, I give Abington a little bit of an edge because it's home. Abington has to play really, really top-flight defense against a power-running team. They didn't do that against North Penn in the playoffs last year. This is too close to call, but boy, I'll tell you, what a game this is going to be.
That is going to be a good one. The game that Mike and I will be doing on the radio Friday night, North Penn at Central Bucks South. Keep in mind that Bart Zarko, the head coach of CB South, the only active coach in the Suburban 1 Continental that has beaten Dick Beck, beat them in the season finale 2 years ago to win the league championship. Mike, North Penn 3-0, CB South 0-3. How do the Knights avoid a letdown against a winless team this week?
Yeah, I don't see a letdown at all. I see a team that's striving to get better, and that they have their standard of excellence very high, and that's what they're shooting for, not the scoreboard, not the opponent's record. I see North Penn going in there playing their A game, possibly getting a lot of guys work, and it doesn't bode well for Central Bucks South.
Well, CB South is doing something different this year as far as the rest of the schools that we've seen, and that's a 2-quarterback system. As a coach, did you ever employ a 2-quarterback system, and what's your take on that whole situation?
You know, back in the 90s, early 90s at one point, Mike Patton actually did use 2 quarterbacks, and on rare occasion. We had Billy Stone, who was a great runner. He would go in short yardage situations and run the football on keepers and sweeps. It's not something I've ever embraced, but more and more people are doing it. And hey, if it works for you, I know South is trying to find that magic formula to get themselves a win. Maybe this gives them an advantage because they can use the attributes of each quarterback. But you're going against the best defense in the area, one that has 11 guys that fly to the ball in a bad mood.
Well, Central Buck South and North Penn coming up this Friday night. It's top 10 time, so Mike and I are going to put ourselves out on the line a little bit here. Here's our top 10s. My top 10 will start with the North Penn Knights. They've climbed into the USA Today national rankings at number 23 after their defeat of St. Joe's Prep. They're followed up by number 2 Pennsbury. The Falcons started off the season undefeated at 3-0. Checking in at number 3, the Whippets of Downingtown West. Their starting quarterback was injured, and they struggled with Chester, but they were able to come out victorious. Numbers 4 and 5 will lock horns Friday night. Abington and Neshaminy, as we mentioned, that'll be the game of the week in the area. Number 6, the Quakertown Panthers, also 3-0. They do not start their league schedule this week. They'll start it next week. Number 7, the Ridley Green Raiders. And then we head to Chester County for the bottom 3. Number 8, Pencrest. Number 9, Conestoga with a big upset over Garnet Valley last week. And rounding out the top 10, Downingtown East.
And for my top 10, I start out with North Penn gaining the number 1 spot for the first time this year. In the second position is Pennsbury. The third position is Neshaminy. The fourth position is Abington. Number 5 slot, Downingtown West. Number 6, a team that is very good, Ridley. Number 7, a team I saw Thursday night, Quakertown, really an improving program. Number 8 is Pencrest. Number 9 is Conestoga, and number 10 is Downingtown East.
So those are our top 10s as we enter the 4th week of competition here in District 1 football. 10 undefeated teams remain at the Quad A level in District 1. We'll try to see who will be the last team standing come playoff time. That's going to do it for this edition of Countdown to Kickoff Week 4. Reminder, on Friday night at 7 o'clock on WNPV and on the web at WNPV1440.com, it's Central Buck South hosting North Penn, and we'll have live coverage of that game for you right on WNPV. So until next time, for Mike Carey, I'm Kyle Berger. We'll see you Friday night.